executive team transformation. How would I start this? First, I would brief the CEO or the leader about WST. You know, CEOs, leaders, they don't care about the process, the philosophy, the theory, you know, that I've gained from 2 masters and 2 PhDs that I didn't complete. I'm not interested in the deep research and be a professor. I'm a practitioner. I want to make it happen. Okay? And then they choose their role and how they want it to go. I listen. And then they decide what team we start with. Is it the top 14 in your organization? Is it one team from the 14? Is it another pilot group that's ready to change, is maybe dealing with some great challenges that if we pay some attention to, the rewards will be wonderful? Then we meet with that leader, whether it's the CEO or the leader of the pilot group, and they analyze for us in a short time, in an hour, the team. The leader themselves tells me about them, so I know their biases, their wishes, their dreams, so I can support it. Okay? And then about the business. Analyze the business. What are the challenges? Where do you want to go? And then we get the clear direction from the leader. And then we go to the team and we start engaging them. And we ensure that we have a good, not sponsorship, I don't believe in that. You got to be engaged and involved. But there's a way to do that efficiently and quickly, maybe through representations or other people. So why, Maria wanted to know about advantages. Why is the executive team transformation important? Because most teams must transform first before they can change the organization that they lead. And agile, effective leadership teams are the way that we get the rest of the organization to march in line. Now, how are you going to do that? Well, I created a team building process that I haven't changed since 1979 because I spent the first 15 years created with the person who coined the phrase team building, Professor Tannenbaum, that was the first to ever publish it and was the main professor of change in the United States in the West Coast at UCLA. He was my very close friend. Okay? And it only takes, on the average, to get started, 3 days of time by the executives on that team of 14 or less. And then we'll make a shift. That's not a lot of time. You know, who was it? Somebody said, oh, we haven't got time to meet. You know, we got to do the work. And the director of Chrysler, you know, I was having a conversation with him years ago, Ayatollah, and he says, that is the work. The most important work is the work among the leadership team. The most important work you have to do. This is important. And I'm telling you, if you can't spend 3 days in a year not doing your strategic planning, not doing this necessarily, maybe that's what is not working, so we got to talk about it. But if you got to spend that time together if you want to be successful. And so in that experience, we get clear about a purpose and results that are wanted when we would start to go to the organization and work in large group interactive events never yet ever been experienced in Russia. I want to bring that there. And so for the first time, the team gets aligned and clear and inspired and confident that they're going to achieve the growth results that is expected by their leader and by the top. And we expect them in this next year to exceed any past performance. And this is whole. We deal with whole means everything, whole, the gestalt. And this is my model of what parts of the whole are. First of all, their strategy. Creating strategy without conversation with culture is a frickin' waste of time. Says Peter Drucker, the most published person in business ever in the history of the world. He says, culture eats strategy for lunch. You can have the greatest strategy, but if you don't have the people's minds inspired and excited about that strategy, and if the strategy is not right because you haven't had the right data in the system intelligence of the organization, not much is going to happen. Besides, you can't do long-range strategic planning today anyway. I just realized I'm probably talking too fast because I'm in a different language. I apologize. Another key element that I've identified is the business processes, the systems. They've got to get efficient and effective. The structure, is the structure right? I mean, my God, you've got a humongous organization. Are there some changes that need to happen in structure right now? What about technology? You know, one of the last organizations I worked with, number of them. You know, I remember, this is GM, GMAC, the piece of General Motors that made the most money, okay? The financial group. They went in and asked for a certain amount of money for their budget for the next year, $1 billion or whatever. They got 40% more given to them, just because they knew how important technology is. I was working with another organization. They had a $5 billion IT budget. Okay? This is where the change happens in an organization, through IT. The problem is IT people are the, research says, they're the most difficult people to deal with change that there are. And then another point is key for me is relationships. It's all about relationships today. Okay? And then it's the human factor. The human talent or the human growth is key. So that's my, elements that I work holistically always. And of course, we start with the CEO or the internal change agent, and we redo that. We make it, customize it for the organization.